Hello guys, how are you doing? Today I want to talk about a niche of games that many of you may know but are not so familiar with: Fukinshin games. Fukinshin is a Japanese word that can be translated as imprudence, improper, or unscrupulous. In short, Fukinshin games are known for covering sensitive topics for most people. These are games that mostly work with subjects such as tragedies and crime, and one of its biggest representatives you certainly know. Hong Kong 97 was developed by the Japanese writer Yoshihisa Kurosawa. Kurosawa was born in Japan in 1971 and had aspirations of working in the games industry. As a teenager, he used it to sell pirated softwares from the Amiga A500 and other pirated games of the time, even receiving a warning letter from a local judge when he was just 14 years old. And young Kurosawa's controversies don't end here. There are some images that show Kurosawa selling CDs that contain content from that guy from Austria, who I can't say his name. There is a page for this CD being sold saved on Wayback Machine, with some images that I cannot show here, but by translating the text, which is obviously in Japanese, you can get an idea of the content of this product. And the way part of the site is organized makes me believe that this was a music CD. Furthermore, he had already been arrested for possession of drugs and had already written a documentary on an underground bodyguard he stalked for some time. Kurosawa only came out to say something about Hong Kong 97 in 2018, where he explained a little more about the production of Hong Kong 97. On this interview, some interesting things were revealed, such as the help that Kurosawa received from an anonymous friend who at the time simply worked for Square Enix. In the interview, Kurosawa says he only sold a few copies of the game and forgot about it, making an original copy of Hong Kong 97 extremely difficult to find nowadays. The last game released by Kurosawa was Minisuki Police for the PlayStation 2. If you are interested, I can make a video about this game someday. The game takes place during the transfer of sovereignty of Hong Kong. You already know the gameplay of this game. You shoot at soldiers on a map made up of old Chinese government propaganda posters, and at the end of the game, you need to fight against the flying head of Deng Xiaoping, the leader of China at the time the game was released. As I already said in my iceberg video, the song that plays in an endless loop is called I Love Beijing Tiananmen and was composed during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. The game carries other controversies, such as being one of the few games of the time to contain swear words, and a story where your mission is basically to kill the entire population of China. When you receive the game over screen, you can see the image of a real. There is a lot of misinformation saying that this boy belongs to the Polish boxer Leszek Błazinski. I hope I said his name correctly, but that's not true. Nowadays, it's well accepted that this boy was taken from a documentary about an armed conflict that took place in the former Yugoslavia a few years ago, and that the man who appears in this photograph is a Bosnian civilian. Some sources say that the images were originally available in a Brazilian documentary called Archives of Death, but I couldn't find any accurate information about this, and I won't watch that kind of thing. One thing that draws attention to this game is how it goes to great lengths to be uncomfortable, and that's what Fukinshin games are based on. But in Hong Kong 97, everything is fictional, except of course the Bosnian man whose photo was used. But I never heard of a war in China carried out by a single man who did not accept the transfer of sovereignty of Hong Kong. Good thing there aren't any Fukinshin games based on real disasters, right? Shoko Asahaya was the founder and leader of the Japanese doomsday cult called Aum Shinrikyo. He was convicted of masterminding the 1995 sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway. Asahaya was sentenced to death in 2004 and was executed along with other senior members of Aum Shinrikyo on July 6, 2018. In the Shibuya neighborhood of Tokyo, in the mid-1980s, a group was founded. They initially met only for yoga and meditation classes. The group grew and quickly became a religion, which years later would be classified as a terrorist organization by the United States and being supervised by Japanese authorities. But how did it all start? Shoko was born blind in one eye, was the father of 6 children, and ironically, lost a lot of money to another cult when he was young. Frustrated with everything he had been through, Shoko created his religion called Aum Shinrikyo, who mixed religions such as Buddhism and Hinduism with even esoteric Christianity. The cult led by Shoko grew a lot in Japan with an intense propaganda machine. Shoko gave interviews on television, met the Dalai Lama, and produced anime and music to spread his ideas across Japan. Asahaya's cult had already committed other crimes, but it was only after a sarin gas attack in the Tokyo subway that the cult leader was arrested. As you can see, we are now talking about something that happened in real life and caused real victims, and based on this whole story, the game The Story of Kamikuishiki Village appears. The game was released for PC 98 in 1995 in Japan. Kamikuishiki Village satirizes the Aum Shinrikyo cult and the attack orchestrated by the cult. A common misinformation is that the game was produced by the cult as propaganda, whereas the story of Kamikuishiki Village actually portrays Aum Shinrikyo and the sarin gas attack negatively, mocking its members. Kamikuishiki Village contains real-life footage of members of the cult and tries to simulate the cult's daily activities and attacks. Images of Shoko and other members of the cult are presented along with scenes from an anime that, unlike this game, was produced by the cult. In 2004, in the city of Sasebo, Japan, a girl of just 11 years old murdered her classmate Satomi Mitai. The killer was never identified and her whereabouts are still a great mystery to this day. The only information we have about the girl who committed the crime is her nickname, Nevada-tan. Yes, everything can always get worse. Nevada's Blade is a fighting game that simulates the attack that occurred that day. It's a very simple game, but very difficult to find. The images you are seeing right now are the only ones I could find about this game. You can notice that these games have something in common: low quality. Artistically speaking, they are very similar to each other. Fukinshin games seem to be made with the intention of shocking the public or actually giving something bad to those who consume these games. It's no wonder that most of these games are extremely difficult to find. Hong Kong 97 gained a lot of popularity thanks to Angry Video Game Nerd and the channel Ultra Healthy Video Game Nerd, who even got an interview with Kurosawa. Nowadays, you can easily play Hong Kong 97 on your computer, but playing Nevada's Blade or Kamikuishiki Village is a little more complicated. Information about both games is extremely scarce, and I wonder if Hong Kong 97 would have suffered the same fate if these YouTubers had never shed light on the game. It's understandable that this niche of games continues to be extremely niche, and it makes me wonder what other games might be hiding behind the language barrier of the Japanese internet. Well guys, this was the video today. This topic is quite different from what I usually bring up on the channel, but I hope you liked it. This is a topic that really catches my attention and that I've wanted to talk about for a while. It's not easy to find information about these games, but if you like this kind of content, I can try to find more new things for you. Well, I really hope you had fun today, and I see you next time.